U.S. and Israeli leaders clash over Gaza's future amid escalating humanitarian crisis. Controversial proposals, disputed strategies, and dire living conditions in the Gaza Strip spark heated global debate over ethics, security, and reconstruction. Today's top story takes us to the heart of the Gaza Strip, where the international community is grappling with the fallout of a rapidly evolving humanitarian and political crisis. With nearly 500,000 searches logged worldwide, the region's fate has once again become the focus of global attention. In a highly controversial press conference at the White House, President Donald Trump proposed that the United States take ownership of the Gaza Strip and redevelop it into what he described as the Riviera of the Middle East. His vision includes permanently relocating the 2 million Palestinians residing in Gaza to neighboring countries such as Egypt or Jordan. Trump's remarks have ignited fierce debate, with critics accusing his proposal of amounting to ethnic cleansing. By framing Gaza as nothing more than a demolition site ripe for redevelopment, he sought to emphasize the potential for economic transformation, even as he acknowledged the area's extensive destruction. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, appearing alongside Trump during the press conference, expressed strong support for the U.S. plan. Netanyahu hailed the idea as thinking outside the box and suggested that it might pave the way for renewed peace negotiations with key regional actors, including Saudi Arabia. However, leaders in neighboring countries have been unequivocal in their rejection. Both Egypt and Jordan have dismissed the proposal, warning that any attempt to forcibly displace the Palestinian population would only deepen regional instability and exacerbate humanitarian suffering. Palestinian officials and representatives of Hamas have denounced the proposal as a blatant violation of international law. They stress that the historical and cultural connection of Palestinians to their land is non-negotiable, and any plan to remove them would be a grave injustice. On the ground in Gaza, the situation remains catastrophic. Months of relentless airstrikes and ground operations have left entire neighborhoods in ruins, with critical infrastructure such as hospitals, schools, and water systems either destroyed or severely damaged. The Israeli blockade, which restricts the entry of food, water, medicine, and fuel, has further plunged the region into crisis. Humanitarian agencies report that millions of civilians are now living in overcrowded shelters and makeshift camps, struggling to secure basic necessities for survival. Amid this backdrop of devastation, discussions about the future of Gaza have taken on new urgency. While some argue that a radical reshaping of the region might offer a path to stability, others insist that such measures would only serve to perpetuate injustice and incite further violence. Debate over the proposal also reflects a significant shift in U.S. foreign policy. Traditionally committed to a two-state solution, the current administration appears to be exploring alternative strategies that emphasize U.S. control and economic redevelopment over Palestinian self-determination. This shift in approach has alarmed many of America's long-standing allies in the Middle East, who fear that any endorsement of forced displacement could undermine efforts to secure a durable, equitable peace in the region. Nations such as Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have reiterated their commitment to preserving Palestinian rights. Within Israel, public opinion is deeply divided. While some right-wing factions and settler groups have embraced the proposal as a solution to long-standing security challenges, many Israelis remain skeptical, worried that forcibly displacing an entire population would sow the seeds for future conflict. Critics warn that using displacement as a policy tool could set a dangerous international precedent, eroding the norms of humanitarian law and human rights. Historical instances of forced migration are frequently cited as grim reminders of the long-term costs of such actions. Even as political leaders debate radical proposals, the voices of ordinary Gazans echo with despair and uncertainty. Many residents, returning to homes reduced to rubble, express a steadfast determination to rebuild their lives in their ancestral land, no matter the hardship. Humanitarian organizations on the ground continue to call for an immediate lifting of the blockade and a significant increase in aid deliveries. They emphasize that the current crisis is not merely a political impasse, but a profound human tragedy that demands urgent international action. International mediators are working to extend the current ceasefire, which has allowed some aid to reach Gaza, yet the future remains uncertain. The risk of renewed hostilities looms large, with the potential for further civilian casualties if drastic measures are pursued. Amid these developments, global media outlets remain sharply divided. Some see Trump's proposal as an audacious attempt to force a resolution to a decades-long conflict, while others condemn it as a reckless and morally bankrupt strategy that will only worsen the suffering of Gaza's population. In the United States, public opinion polls reveal deep partisan divisions on how to handle the conflict. With younger voters increasingly critical of traditional policies, debates over military aid and the ethical implications of U.S. support for Israel have taken center stage in the national discourse. The future of the Gaza Strip now hangs in the balance, with proposals ranging from radical U.S. intervention to renewed commitments to a two-state solution. As the international community watches with bated breath, the stakes have never been higher for the millions of civilians caught in the crossfire. As we continue to follow this unfolding story, it is clear that the path forward will require unprecedented international cooperation, compassion, and a renewed commitment to upholding human rights and dignity. The coming months will be critical in determining whether the region can move toward lasting peace or if it will remain mired in conflict and despair.